Someone clearly has the match on in the background. How you doing, everybody? You're very welcome to another bit here, kind of a fan forum we wanted to throw out to some of the people that watch the show and some of the great people that engage on some of the Facebook groups. Some of the Facebook groups out there are really good. There's Manchester United fans era, and then there's Manchester United fans Ireland, and there's the Supporters Club in Kildare, which do great work. Always very fair and measured, and football fans first. Some great debates, and it always, for the most part, is kind of transparent and relaxed. And but today is, from our YouTube channel and our podcast perspective, we want to do something to get a real sense of how people are really feeling towards the end of the seasons, because there's a lot of dismay and conjecture floating around about Erik Ten Hag, and wanted to kind of get people's perceptions of it on the ground about and really ask, are we collectively kind of overreacting to what's happening, or is this genuinely all we're really capable of with the amount of injuries that we've had over the last year, because we've been smashed. But there is always the argument that Liverpool have been hit as well quite heavily, but they were up there and thereabouts up until a couple of games ago, which we're delighted with, obviously. But, they were kind of there or thereabouts in the equation. So what is it that we're not doing that Liverpool were doing consistently up to a couple of games? And why is it all falling apart? And I'll throw it out to the floor. We have so Jamie is a regular contributor of the podcast as well. So it's Jamie here. We've Deck, and who else have we got? Sorry, and Jason as well, isn't it?
Jason,
lovely stuff. So look, I'll put it to the floor, and you can take it. Or whoever wants to take it, just stick your hand up and go ahead. I mean, is Erik Ten Hag going to get sacked regardless of the FA Cup?
I think personally he's in bother whether he wins the FA Cup or not. I think Sir Jim probably has his mind made up after the season we've had. It's been a season of up and downs, and it's been ridiculous, the performances that the players have put in. I've blamed Erik for some tactical stuff that he's done, but I think we've been let down by the players not performing on the pitch. We want players there that will fight for the crest on the jersey, and I think too many times this season they haven't done that, and we've been so predictable in our play, so slow from the back, that we've given up so many chances to other teams that wouldn't normally get them. Old Trafford used to be a fortress. Teams are actually looking forward to come playing us there now. And I think it's more that we had such optimism after last season that we've been let down so much this season by what we've seen on the pitch,
Yeah, totally. Do you think does it make any difference if City don't win the league, do you think?
I think regardless, I think there's the toxicity in the club has just filtered through too long, and it's a stark contrast to last year. Ten Hag had a lot of tactical decisions last year that worked, whereas this year he doesn't seem to be weighted. And I don't think Manchester City winning the league makes a difference, because they're on miles above us anyway, and it's a sad thing. But I can't live with them winning four in a row, considering they only started in 2008. But I'll be going to Old Trafford next week, for the Arsenal game, and it'll be hard not to wear an Arsenal shirt under the United shirt.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how you feel, but one of the crux of some of the biggest problems that I have this season are frustrations with. See, the thing about it is that I'm quite happy with players being chastised and, showing who's boss. I get that. And I'm all for a manager exerting his power. But there are times when I see him making substitutions. And it's clear to see in like 3 important games in the recent past, he's taken players off, and then those players that were heavily involved in build-up and assists in terms of the goals prior to that were taken off, and then teams came back and drew or beat us. So you have to ask yourself, if he's making those type of decisions, are things working, and is he the right man for the job?
Yeah, it is like he's making decisions on the fly. He's not really calculating his decisions, like you're saying. He's taking players off where he should be maybe leaving them on and substituting players who aren't performing. But he's putting the nails in his own coffin by doing that because, as you say, they capitulate at the end and we end up losing or drawing and dropping points in games we should be winning. Even we played awful against Liverpool, but we should have won.
Yeah.
Chelsea, we should have won. But even against Coventry, 3-0 up, how do you throw away a 3-0 lead? As soon as you took a Garnacho off, that was it. It just fell to shit. So maybe I think if Jim wants to have himself taken seriously, and he's saying he wants to, it's going to take time. He's going to have to either stick or twist with Ten Hag, either stick with him for the long term and ride out the choppy waters, or fire him and find a new way to win.
I think
Yeah,
his,
I mean, look. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I was just going to say just really quickly. Sorry, Paul. I just want to say really. I think
Okay.
I think some of his management has been very of players has been handled very badly. Like I'd go back to Jadon Sancho. Not like whatever he's doing behind the scenes, fine, but I don't think publicly outing the chap on national television is going to kind of help him. Like obviously you've seen Sancho's reaction to that. I think that's kind of something he's done a few times where he shouldn't be dealing with them behind closed doors. It feels a bit insecure to me that he has to kind of broadcast that, whereas Ferguson would deal with people behind the door. And Mourinho was sometimes very good at wasn't very good at dealing with that either. He'd often criticize players in the public, and I don't think that's how you hold a dressing room together. Personally.
Yeah, I do see.
Anyone else want to chip in on that?
Yeah, I do see where you're coming from. And when you started saying, I think the first thing I thought was Mourinho as well. He tends to throw people under the bus. Luke Shaw being one of them, that he really just went for it. Like he had an army of buses to throw Luke Shaw under, and it doesn't seem right. But I suppose it's how they think. I suppose if you could look from his point of view, he's trying to say, well, he could be trying with it behind the scenes, getting nowhere, and saying, well, throw him under the bus and see how he acts. But I think with Sancho, he needed to have better attitude. He should have just taken it on the chin and
absolutely, I agree there.
Dealt with it behind closed doors himself, and rather than going to Twitter or X and airing his grievances, because he wasn't performing on the pitch. Like he didn't deserve
absolutely
to play as it was.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at
during the week whether I was Erik Ten Hag in or out, and I actually said in. I think looking at it, ever since Fergie left, we've been chopping and changing managers, and it hasn't actually worked for us. It's been crazy. I think at least give him a few seasons, and with the backing of Sir Jim and Ineos, who seem to be getting it right at the top of the club now, they're setting up a structure for us to succeed on the pitch, whereas the Glazers only wanted to succeed at the shopping till, and dividends. They're getting a proper football-based team of men there now that know how to run a club and know how to do it properly. So I'm Erik Ten Hag in now anyway.
All the way. Yeah, I mean, another question that has to be asked is, it seems as if they're structuring the backroom staff and the new team that have been coming in, the likes of Wilcox and obviously Brailsford and Coe and everybody else. It seems as if they seem to be building the team around what's pre-existing. If you can hear me, just put your hand up because the internet, I think, is choppy for somebody. Just put your hand up there. Yeah, lovely. It seems as if that they're building a chessboard, around Erik Ten Hag. So what do they know that we don't know? Were they always going to stick by him regardless of where the chips landed this season? I think they kind of knew that, because when you're doing that kind of, to use Ralph Ragnick's term before about open heart surgery, I think they literally took that on board, and they're excavating, the foundations basically from the structure beforehand, and they know how bad it is. Now, but I think one of the things that's causing the problem, maybe in that scenario, is that they don't have, or they're only currently looking at the kind of director of football kind of role. So I think with that in place and with the team around it, I think we'd be better placed for next season. But does it really matter when, you know, we're going out there and we're just not playing well? I mean, it's like a European Cup semi-final against Real Madrid in every game, only we're not playing Real Madrid. So like, how much patience are fans supposed to have? There is a possibility that he'd come good next season, but I mean, you look at City in terms of the egos, for example. How is it that Pep Guardiola can manage a team of huge egos, massive egos, get a performance out of them every week and never fall out with them in the press? How can Pep do that? But yet none of our managers over the last, in the same tenure when Pep has been there, can handle those egos or deal with that. Or is it just a case of United being the biggest club in the world and it's completely different at United than it is anywhere else?
The toxicity of the club is a problem, I think, with United. Personally, United has been a very toxic club for the last 10 years, really. The way it's just kind of gone downhill, especially since Ferguson and Gill have basically disappeared, because they were basically running the club, I feel, while they were there, because everything went through them. Ferguson was not just managing the team, he was also managing the club with David Gill. The two of them together were brilliant. They'd always get everything over the line. Whereas then you see straight afterwards, when they both disappeared, even the signings, like chasing stupid signings was a problem. Chasing Thiago in 2013 and then ending up with Fellaini. Now, I don't ever want to diss Fellaini. I thought Fellaini always gave his all, in fairness to him. He somewhat, like, he may not have been the United player, but I will not knock his effort.
I won't have anything said for
wasn't one of
Fellaini.
those,
I won't have
players,
anything bad said about him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Fellaini was like, considering, like, he's a great example of some during that period maximizing his talent. And I only recently watched a lot of his stuff again. And Mourinho afterwards, he maintains that he's one of maybe 4 players that were, you know, some of the terminology he uses, that they were one of his champions or whatever, or basically did everything.
Yeah,
he said.
Mourinho got the best out of him. Mourinho used him properly, and so Van Gaal did an all right job with him too. They used him the way he should have been used, but
I think Mourinho had it down when he said that there was a virus at the club.
Oh, there is that.
The player power got so much that no manager was ever going to be able to control it. We got rid of Pogba, we got rid of Lingard. Thankfully, Martial's going in the summer.
We hope, anyway.
You can live in hope.
Yeah, I'll drive him wherever he has to go. I don't care. He just needs to be gone from the club. He's robbed the living there for too long. And I think he's one of the main trio that were instigating player power. And I can't understand how many managers actually kept them there, you know. But they need to get rid of those type of players from the club, and they need to get in players that want to play for United and give their all out on the pitch. And that's what we want. That's what we as supporters want to see.
Yeah, I think a big issue is, especially if we were to sack Erik Ten Hag, like, I think the messaging that sends out to other elite managers is a poor message. Because whatever about taking the job after Fergie, right? And even over the last couple of seasons, it's like there's been a lot of washing the dirty laundry of the backroom teams in public, particularly over the last 4 or 5 years. So, like that's why we ended up with someone like Solskjaer, as good as he was in large parts. You know, I don't think it's an appealing job anymore in the same way the Liverpool job is now. Like, there's 3 or 4 people in for the Liverpool job, and I think Slot's taking it because they've offered money and stuff today. Not to talk about Liverpool, but that seems to be another smart move. Like, 3 or 4 clubs tried to get Slot over the last few years. Leeds tried to get him, he didn't go. Newcastle were in for him, I think, a little while ago as well, or they expressed an interest. So you have to look at. There's a reason why Zidane. Now, Zidane, you could argue that he's chicken shit and he won't go near anything unless he has a fucking, you know, a Newcastle type budget or a big squad like that. But like, who out there would take the United job? I mean, who would have the balls to take it again? I think Jose would take it again because he doesn't give a
Point
fuck.
to prove. Yeah, he's a point to prove maybe.
And he's
But who else? I mean, who else would be mentioned there? I mean,
Stephen Kenny would probably be a good option now as well.
yeah. She throws hat into the ring for the under fucking 11s down the road. He would.
I think Tuchel will take it.
Yeah, and to be honest, I think he'd be pretty good too. You know.
Yeah. I can't understand why Chelsea let him go when they did. I thought it was
because that Egypt Todd Bowley. That's why.
Yeah. So I
he's
think
ruined Chelsea.
Yeah, it's great to see. It's great
and it's sad. It's great and it's sad. Like it's just, it's kind of just embarrassing, like for them, really, and it kind of ruins the kind of the old Barclays kind of, nostalgia.
Yeah. I'll say one thing about Chelsea. Chelsea are now back to the old Chelsea that I used to love, winning fuck all and playing good football now and again.
Cole Palmer has been
Chelsea I used to love.
The only time they turned up this season was against us, unfortunately.
Yeah, bastards, huh?
Yeah.
So just look, there's a couple of coaches out there that I think would do a great job. Tuchel I think would do good. I think Simeone would be a good coach because he's that fiery character that United need. These are just my personal opinions. Nagelsmann, I think, would be a great shout, but he's just signed a new contract with Germany, so that won't happen.
He's actually a decent manager. He's very good, yeah.
And
he would do a good job.
I mean, but you'd need someone that has. See, ultimately, I would worry that the squad there needs to be someone in there that they can't argue with them. They need to be of such high profile that they can't argue with them, and the only person that really fits that remit where there's two people really that kind of fit that in terms of credentials, in terms of managers and players, where they can go in and go, well, I've won everything, so don't fucking argue with me or you're gone. Would be a Zidane or an Ancelotti.
I'd love to see Roy Keane go into that dressing room.
Oh, it'd be a disaster.
And clean it out, because he'd sort a few of them out, and I don't think we'd ever see him at United again. So if they want to bring Keane in as assistant manager, I'd be happy.
I'd like to see that too, and I think like the logic of how that potentially would work would have been, some like the construct in which that might work is if Zidane got the job, because of the language thing as well, and Keane being so deeply linked with the club. I think that'd be a good one too. It makes sense, and I think they know each other. So again, it's pie in the sky, and it's all conjecture and stuff. But looking forward to next year. I have a couple of questions there about just kind of how what we could do to fix things, regardless of whether Ten Hag is there or not. Like what areas do you think that we need, and without the kind of ridiculous idea of shifting on 10 players, that's not going to happen. Not with FFP. We'd be the whole summer trying to flog at least 5 players. It'll be because this is what happened over the last few years. No one wants our players have zero stock going out into the world because the United won't cut their losses and get rid of players for 10 or 20 million if they bought them for 50 or 80. They just won't. So like, who's a good shout in terms of building? Who, like, realistically, Martial, as you were saying, Deck is going to go. You'd imagine that a couple of the back four in its existing format will go by virtue of their age, because they wouldn't be part of a 3 to 5 year plan. So you're talking about Varane going, you're talking about Casemiro, you're talking about Lindelof, yeah. Well, I think he's just gone 30, or he's around 30. So and maybe even Shaw. As much as I like Shaw, when he's playing well, he's the best left back in the country in that league.
Yeah.
But like, who would you see coming in to freshen things up? Varane will go as well by virtue of his wages, and his age. So, I mean, it is going to be a kind of 1995 Lee Sharpe, Kanchelskis, Hughes type thing, where you'll have a good few going, but not as many as people would like. So who would come in? I'm just going to throw a couple of shouts in and let me know what you think. And I said this the other day on one of the videos that we did. In terms of what FFP will allow us to pay, and in terms of, and I might be biased, obviously, we all would be here with the likes of the players that I'm about to suggest. But how good do you think is Sammy Smodux in there playing off Highlands would be?
Loves Schmadix.
just a little enlarged idea as well, because Maddox is he's about 5'7", and Highland's 6'1" or 6'1", I think. And he can play off the wing, or he can play out to the out on the wings when required as well. So imagine throwing potentially an Evan Ferguson if he recovers his form, and a Sammy Smoddox in there in terms of the front line, and that's with the proviso that maybe Rashford would be fucking off to PSG as well. I think that is an achievable set of transfers that could really improve our forward line, especially with Garnacho.
Ferguson needs to get out of Brighton. I don't know what's gone on there. His
head was turned. It's clear his head was turned.
Yeah, there's something going on there.
That's why his form is gone.
Yeah, he needs to get out of there.
He'd be a great player to get in and get playing with Highland, and that could be a front pairing for the next 10 years.
A York and Cole kind of pairing. That could be if you got it right.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Schmodix, like, he's proved himself in the Championship, so I'd give him a chance.
Yeah, look. Yeah, totally. I mean, people were making an argument during the week about Smodix not being able to step up from the Championship to Premier League, and I disagree with it, and I'll tell you why. Because you look at Ivan Toney, he was top scorer in the Championship the year before Brentford came back up.
Yeah.
And he can do it in the Premier League, and he's confident.
And Ollie Watkins was as well with Brentford as well. Ollie Watkins was the same.
Yeah, I mean, just defenders who's out there as well. I mean, any shouts for anyone out there that you think could come in and make a difference? I think the idea of maybe Willie Kambawala and
keep him.
Yeah,
could be excellent.
Blood Kampala for the next year. I think he'll be brilliant.
I just don't think our backup is as good as our starting positions in general. When you look at the '99 treble winning squad, when someone came out, with the exception maybe of Blomqvist, there was someone and Greening. But when you look at all the other positions, when Cole and York were out, Sheringham and Solskjaer were in, and they were just as good. When you look at the back four, when Stam was out, there was Janssen or so.
Even Dave May.
Even May at that time, although we played fuck all that season, but when he played, he could come in and do a job. I mean, there's not. You look at our back four, and it's been proved that. And look, I'm going to give credit where credit's due, and I'm going to be a bit of a hypocrite now and say about Harry Maguire, and I'll ask you how you all feel about that as well.
Harry's played great ever since he lost the captaincy.
Yeah.
I think it's taken a lot of pressure off him. I don't think he realised when he got the captaincy, he got it too soon, and the pressure that being the captain of Man United brought, and he suffered because of it. And we've seen, and look, he'll always make the odd mistake, but I think he's been playing great lately, and a lot.
His professionalism is second to none.
Yeah, so I mean, for him to knuckle down, take the abuse that he got from everyone and United fans, and to come back playing the way he has, I think, fair play to him. He's been doing very well.
Yeah. Look, you have to give credit where it's credit's due. I mean, if they were giving out awards for fucking best improved, like in school, he would. He'd get a Player of the Season award.
He'll get a gold star on his copybook.
Yeah, he get.
I was in the Aviva when we played Bilbao, and he got booed by a section of the fans after that own goal. After he kind of played a part in that goal, and it was ridiculous.
Yeah,
it was embarrassing, and it was disgusting.
We actually started.
Yeah, I was part of that as well. My grandfather, who's an absolute diehard United fan, he lift the house out a bit with swearing and everything. Stuff he says he couldn't be aired. But he was just going crazy because of how disrespectful that was. It was disgusting.
Yeah, no, I was in the stadium. It was ridiculous now, and no player. We don't boo our own, Now I'll slate Martial all day long. I'll slate him, but he deserves it.
Yeah, it's different. Martial
is just a waste.
Yeah, and I'm at the Arsenal game as well now, so
maybe I'll see you for an old pint. I'm going over to Kildare crowd.
So am I.
I got Christy Bagnall's bus. I'm
on that as well.
Oh right, I go every year with them. That's mad.
Yeah, I'm actually. This is my first time traveling with Christy, so.
Oh right, going. That's 10 years.
I'm meeting Christy. I'm meeting Christy at his house.
Yeah. We normally do that or Kildare, but I think we're going to straight. I'll just go straight from Dublin because I'll be there. Yeah. Oh, you'll have a great time on the trip. Christy he's phenomenal. He'll go above and beyond for you. He organises brilliant trips.
Yeah,
you'll have a good time.
We brought Christy down to Kerry to a pub called the Stretford End, and
he fell asleep.
He fell asleep. Yeah, we went on Black for the weekend, and he passed out.
Sorry, lads, I got cut off there. Sorry for the
You're all right. You're all right.
Break.
It turns out we're going on the same trip.
Arsenal.
We're going on the same bus. I think he's in water again there, but
it seems to be frozen.
About
so I'll have to see you for a pint anyway, so I will.
Oh yeah, definitely, yeah.
We're staying in a lovely hotel, Stockport. It's nice, you'll like it.
Yeah.
Can you hear me, lads? Yeah,
we can hear you now, Paul. Yeah,
it's frozen there.
Yeah, sorry about that, lads. I'll cut that out anyway. Don't worry, and make it look less awkward.
It's all right.
So just to round things off, because obviously he's want to watch a bit of the match. Who do you think are player of the season and why going forward?
I'd probably put Garnacho for me.
Okay.
Yeah,
Maguire has a shout. Maguire has a shout just because of the redemption arc he's completed.
I can only think of Garnacho as the player of the season.
Yeah, he'll definitely win goal of the season anyway as well.
Yeah,
absolutely, yeah. And Premier League goal of the season.
Yeah.
I'll do a 4, 2nd, and 3rd based on my own observations over the season. I mean, I think Garnacho will be 3rd, and I'll tell you why, because I would have really strongly favoured him for player of the season, and he's come up with some top goals at important times. But I just think he's just losing the run of himself ever so slightly with his attitude, just a bit. I think for that reason, he kind of drops down a little bit. Mainu, if he played a full season, would clearly be our player of the year, easily.
Great player.
He's been the breakout of the year.
And because of the nature of Harry Maguire's head, I'm not putting him in the top 3 at all because it bothers me. But I'm going to say Bruno, by virtue of the fact that 2 ex-legendary Man United captains over the course of the season have come out and said that he's not captain material. And he scored 6 goals in the last 7 games. So you'd have to say, when it really matters, when the shit hits the fan, he's been popping up, even when not playing well and scoring and dragging people forward. In the way, we may not have the unity to jump in the same level of enthusiasm as he's been. And I know he moans a lot, but he is doing exactly how much more is a captain supposed to do?
Well, I said it online during the week that he put in a captain's performance against Sheffield United. He dragged that team to victory, and he has annoyed me during the season with his moaning and groaning. But he's actually
you'll take it though.
Put his money where his mouth is, and he's actually come through for the team. And his passion for United seems evident, and that's what we want from all our players. And if all our players,
I go along with that.
If all our players had the same passion as Bruno, we wouldn't be in the trouble we are at the moment.
Yeah, I'd agree. He has dragged, and like I said, the Sheffield game, he dragged the team through. When it seemed like it was going to end a draw, we could lose. He dragged the team forward. Like that was a stunning goal he scored to make it 3-2. He was phenomenal. He has been all season. So I do see it coming from Bruno as number 1. Yeah,
look at some of the goals he scored. Like real collector's items that you're looking at them going, if that was any other season, that's all we'd be talking about.
Yeah. His Burnley goal was phenomenal.
We're just going to have to build a team around Bruno now, because I mean that's our main go-to player, and he has been for seasons. It's great to see Mainu coming through and Cambuala. There's a good nucleus of young players there as well. If Garnacho keeps his feet on the ground, he'll be a great player. Highland is going to do well if they get someone in to get the service for him. you know.
Yeah.
I think
So-
Ericsson will leave. Ericsson,
Oh,
I
yeah.
think.
Yeah, he said he's
You'd
a
have to say, yeah, Ericsson will move on by virtue of the fact, like him and Casemiro, as good as they are, both of their legs are gone. You know.
Yeah, well, obviously the heart incident has taken a bit of the stuffing out of Ericsson as well. But he's had a great recovery with that, in fairness to him. But I'm glad he got to win a trophy, actually, in England with an English club, unlike Spurs.
I don't know if you've ever broken a bone, right? But I broke.
I've never broke a bone, no.
But if you've played football after you broke a leg, you're always like about. If you went in for a tackle 100% before that, you're always about 60% going in for the ball, always, forevermore. Imagine what it's like when you have a fucking heart attack. You know, I would be like, nah, it's not worth it, lads. I might leave that one. You know.
Yeah.
So I think Deck might have dropped out there by virtue of the internet. Thanks a million for joining us, lads. For the viewers that are going to be watching this on YouTube afterwards, share this video with a friend. Get involved. Subscribe on YouTube. Hit the bell button so when other videos come up. You can find us on Spotify on at the Cult of Cantona. You can listen to individual podcasts there, which are the sound's usually a lot better. With thanks, obviously, to some amazing people that we work with, Legends 11, some great work being done there, raising awareness and some money for charities and development projects for underage football across the country. They do some incredible work, Tony and the lads there, and Colin. And also massive thanks to Jamie, who does a lot of the back end stuff for the podcast here, and Ray, and Iman, and who else? And Oisin. And everybody else. So if you'd like to support the show as well, just to help us kind of continue creating content like this and getting other great people involved, like Deck and Jason today, you can visit buymeacoffee.com/Cult of Cantona. And there's a couple of options there about how you might be able to support the show. Nobody's retiring on any donations that you give in, but if you want to help us to create more content, to interview some more interesting people, to create some interesting giveaways and competitions and so on, please try and support the show. Thanks, lads. I'll leave you off to try and get a nice illegal stream to watch the match now at 3:00. And have a great weekend.
Thank you for having me. Brilliant.
Take care, Jason.
Great stuff, Jason. Thanks very much.
Good to meet you. Great to meet you.
Yeah, you too. And Deck as well, if you're somewhere in the ether there, in the Ethernet. Thanks a million, and I'm sure we'll talk to you again soon. Have a great day, lads. All the best.
See you there. Bye.
Cheers, Jamie. Good man.
Thank you.